What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, where we will be talking about the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One S, also known as the Project Scorpion. Now, we're basically just going to look at some of the information that has been given to us that you can easily go on Google and look up. And I figured I'd kind of look at it because I'm wanting to see which one I'd like to get because I haven't been able to decide if I wanted to upgrade my Xbox One to the Scorpio or do the PS4 Pro because I've already sold my PlayStation 4, but I really don't know if I'll get another one. This might be the changing factor in it, it might not, I'm not sure. So it says here that the PS4 Pro is releasing 1 year ahead. If you look it up, Project Scorpio isn't really supposed to release until about late 2017. I would imagine maybe around this time next year or maybe even around Christmas next year. Says the PS4 Pro is probably going to be the less expensive console. I could see that being a possibility just so the PlayStation 4 Pro can move more units before the Scorpio is released because of everything I've heard that the Scorpio can do. It just would make sense that it would be a little bit less expensive than the latter. Project Scorpio is going to be more powerful, but how much of that power is really going to be supported by developers? Now, this one, I really wasn't sure what to make of it, so I'll go ahead and read what it says here, what they wrote down for it. It says, Project Scorpio is much more powerful than PS4 Pro. Sony's new console is going for a 4.19 teraflops rig, while Microsoft is launching its console at a whopping 6 teraflops computational power. We don't really know what devs are going to do with such a big amount of raw power, but usually the more power you have, the better. Spencer said at E3 2016, the Xbox team is going for 4K resolution and 60 frames per second all the way down. Although this is not possible on PC running with the same specifics, unless they don't use some magic like Sony did with the PS4 Pro, we're going to see a lot of compromises just like it happened so far with Xbox One. So essentially what I'm reading for that is they're trying to say that, the Xbox One, they're really Microsoft is really hyping it up. It's supposed to be able to run 4K resolution, run at 60 frames a second, and all that great, fun, goody stuff. But it seems like I don't know what a teraflop is. I'm not gonna lie, but if the PS4 Pro is only gonna have a 4.1 and the Scorpio is gonna have 6, it's obviously looking like graphics wise at least the Scorpio is going to be a little bit better in terms of power, but how much of that is going to be really 6 and how much of that is just going to be, yeah, we said it was 6, but really it's like, 4.2. Like you won't notice. I don't know. I'm not really sure 100% until the console gets released next year. It says here that as Xbox One S, Project Scorpio is going to feature an Ultra HD 4K Blu-ray drive. Now, I'll read this part too because I wanted to see what they had to say. It says, one of the things Sony worked upon in order to maintain a good pricing for the PS4 Pro was getting rid of an Ultra HD 4K Blu-ray drive. Yes, Sony, the one who created Blu-ray, is not supporting this technology with its latest home console. Personally, I don't need it, but someone may actually do. So it's a plus for Project Scorpio, which is coming along with a brand new optical drive, allowing you to see even more defined movies and stuff like that. Or at least this is what we suppose will happen based on the Xbox One S recent experience. They might be forced to remove that 4K Blu-ray drive from the final Project Scorpio in order to have a more competitive price. Okay, so if you really like to watch like movies and stuff, then you're going to have Ultra HD 4K. And one of my I wouldn't say complaints, more of my concerns rather, is would the Xbox One S be too powerful? Or the Scorpio anyway, the One S is different. The Scorpio, is it going to be too powerful to run on like your normal TV? Like, I'm not talking like normal TVs like, that don't take HDMI. I mean, you obviously have to have some form of TV with an HDMI output and input. But one of my concerns is like, is it going to look really, really choppy on a TV that might not even be HD? Is it going to look choppy on anything that isn't a 4K TV or an Ultra HD 4K? Like, that's a concern of mine because I mean, if you have people go out and buy this console and they hook it up and it looks choppy, they're not going to really notice a difference. Or if it looks like about the same, they won't notice a difference unless they go out and shell the extra money for an Ultra HD 4K TV, which are not really that, cheap. They're pretty expensive. My 4K TV, which I don't even think it's an Ultra HD, I think it's just flat out 4K. It's was like $700 whenever I bought it, and for the one that was Ultra HD 4K, it's like $1,200. So I guess that kind of just depends on how much change you got laying around. The next one here, which I'm actually pretty excited about, says Project Scorpio is supporting third-party VR platforms. One thing I believe could be truly interesting right here is Project Scorpio supporting third-party VR headsets and platforms. Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, Samsung Gear, and others could all find a new home on Project Scorpio, just like they do on Steam. It's something Sony won't be able to do as they already own PlayStation VR, so they're going to need to have first-party effort on that platform and do a good job while convincing third-party developers to approach it, which is something they'll manage to do. In this case, this October's launch finally reveals successful. So, with all of that in mind, with the VR, the VR, I mean, a lot of the stuff I'm kind of seeing here that are the big differences for early buyers such as myself and you guys would probably have to be like, what extra features do you want more than, I mean, I know that they said that PlayStation 4 Pro is going to have 4.19 teraflops and the Xbox Scorpio is going to have 6, and it's going to run at 60 frames a second. It's going to have 4K resolution and all that good stuff. But unless you're really into virtual reality, or you're into the Blu-ray, for watching movies and stuff like that, I don't really see how you should even shell out the extra money for the Scorpio. I mean, if there's more stuff that's coming with it that, we obviously don't have much information on because they're not finishing it and releasing it until 2017, probably around this time, or again around Christmas of next year, then there's not really much more information for us to go on. I just wanted to make this video just to kind of see what the differences were, because I didn't really look anything up. I wanted to do it as I did this video just so I can give my first honest impressions rather than letting it kind of sit in my head and I sit and think, well, because I end up flip-flopping a lot. That's just what I do. I don't know, blame my family. But again, unless you're into the VR platform, or virtual reality and everything, which that even with that, you have to wonder, okay, they support virtual reality, but how exactly, what all games are going to be on it where you can use the VR? Because a lot of the games that are virtual reality that doesn't involve you to have to actually physically walk around, then, yeah, I could see how that would be pretty good. But if it's games that you need to actually be able to have a way to walk around with a controller, it's still fine. But at the same time, unless you've got if it can support a Virtuix Omni, which if you're not sure what that is, just look it up on YouTube. It's really cool. Then there's not really a way for you to walk around that would feel like you wouldn't feel truly in full VR, because it wouldn't feel natural. And I know that with VR, we're getting more and more advanced in our technology, and I mean, I'm not saying that at one point or another we'll eventually have Matrix plug-in, and then you can sit there and play your game, and then whenever you're done, you have to exit, save, quit, and everything like that, just to successfully disconnect from your console or whatever we're using in the future, a hologram, I don't know. But I guess it all boils down to your personal opinion, because I really want the VR because I like the idea of virtual reality, but at the same time, I do have a PC, and all I have to do is upgrade the graphics card, which I'm going to do in a few months, and I can support VR. Then I just buy an Oculus Rift or whatever VR simulators, system platforms are out there, and just play it like that. So on this one of is it worth it, I tried to make sure it wasn't nearly as biased as literally the very first video I ever did for Skyrim Remastered, and it was so biased, I cannot believe it. I ended up rewatching it again, and I was like, oh my god, I made this so biased. I'm pretty sure it probably turned some people off, and I've read some of the comments, and a lot of you guys have really been talking about it, and it's really awesome that everyone's getting together and really discussing everything. So I'm actually really glad about that. Even though there are people that dislike the video, I can understand how they might be a little bit displeased with me saying that, you know, I don't see it as worth it unless it's coming with something else or it's on a discount. But I mean, again, that is my personal opinion, you know. But I did make the whole video way too biased. I didn't talk about all the information until after I already was like, you know, I'm not buying it. But in this case, you know, which one would you like to buy? In my own personal opinion, I may try to wait out and get a Scorpio just to upgrade my Xbox One. I'm not really sure because I mean, I've got a whole year to wait. But as far as getting another PS4, I'm probably not going to. I mean, yes, the PS4 has some pretty good exclusives, you know, Bloodborne, um, Final Fantasy X and 10-2, but you can get that on Steam, you know, and I mean, there's a few decent, you know, this is this one company, the only PS4, but at the same time, I got rid of one just to get a gaming computer. I'm not really looking to go back. Uh, you know, what do you guys think? You know, leave, you know, just let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are wanting to get, which one you're going to get, why. Tell me why you're going to get it. Even with this, I know that it's not a lot of information to go on, but I'm interested in seeing like what you guys want to go with, because if, you know, I can see how people would want to go for a PS4 Pro because it is coming out like very soon, and the Scorpio is not coming out until next year, so you could always buy the PS4 Pro and see if you really like it, and then just go and retrade it back in towards a Scorpio when it gets closer and closer to time to release. But you know, again, let me know in the comments below which one you guys are going to get. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, share, comment, do all that good stuff under the sun. You know, this has been another episode of Is It Worth It? Thank you all for joining me, and I will see you later.